All right, everyone. For those of you who are new to the community or you've been hiding under a rock, my new book, Design the Man Within, is out. And yes, it is available for purchase. I created this for the everyday man, the man who is the backbone to society, who puts in the long hours and the hard work and knows that there is something that is better for him out there in this world, but feels like it's not attainable to him because the fact that he doesn't have the quote unquote time to put into a lot of this development that goes on for other people. Well, I created this book for him. This is an easy way for you to get that development. It's an easy way for you to start putting time into yourself. And there are tools in here that I've used in my life so that I could improve who I was. And yes, I know where you come from because I was that blue collar guy. I still work hard and I did that growing up my whole life. And I came from a family of blue collar workers, and I pride myself on understanding the mindsets that we go through as people who grow up from that paycheck to paycheck life. The people who are just doing the best effort they can to put a roof over their family's head and to put food on the table. I understand the mindset, but understand now yourself that we can do more to benefit our own relationships with ourselves and with our families. This book is what I created because I wanted this to be addressed. It's the book I needed 6 years ago, and it's the book I hope you need today. So make sure you click the link below and go to designthemanwithin.com. Get your copy today so that you can start reading Design the Man Within. You can start getting the tools and you can start implementing them into your lives so you no longer have to suffer and struggle the way you have been. Make sure you guys go get Design the Man Within at designthemanwithin.com and join everybody else who's already ordered this book. Thanks.
Hey guys, welcome back to YouTube. I want to dive into some stuff here today about fatherhood, right? And a lot of guys think that, just because they're a father, that they are entitled to say that they're good at this. Or a lot of times guys that are becoming fathers believe that just because they are a father, they know better than somebody else. And you're like, bro. First off, being a father has to do with being a leader, right? And if you have zero fucking leadership skills, I can almost tell you right now, you're not a good father. This isn't a fucking indictment of you. This is just the reality. Because you're inherently in a position does not make you good at it. Please get that through your head, man. This has to do with everything in life, not just fathers, but it has to do with everything in life. Just because you are in a position does not make you good at it. That's like somebody telling me, oh, I spent 20 years in an organization. They never became a CEO. They never became an E-suite person, but they spent 20 years in an organization and they know something and that they're good at it. No, you're not good at it. I spent years in the federal government, over 20 years tied to the federal government. And there are so many people who have spent 20 plus years in the federal government who fucking suck at their job. They suck at being leaders. They suck at their job. And just because they sat there for 20 plus years never made them good at their job. This is what I want to really convey to men, especially fathers out there, man. I've been seeing some shit with fathers right now, and I've been seeing some videos, and it just kind of like fired me up. So I wanted to get on here and talk about it because I think it's something that men need to really understand, that just because you are a father does not make you good at being a father. Okay, you need to do work. And what that means is you need to do work on yourself, and you need to do work on your leadership skills and your parenting skills. If you think that inherently you got given something from like your family, or you inherently got given something because you just became a father, don't think you're going to be good at it. That is a fatal mistake. And that is going to bring in the later years of your child not valuing you, of your child being a dickhead to you and a dickhead to your wife. And that is going to lead to those years of rebellion. And you're going to be like, I have no control over this kid, or what else can I do? You know what you did is the early years when they were getting raised, you inherently thought you had leadership over them. You inherently thought you had power over them. You inherently thought you had authority over them, and you didn't. Right? You abused your role, and therefore it's coming back to bite you in the ass in the later years. It is just like being a leader in a business or a leader in any job. If you inherently believe you have authority over your team, it will come to bite you in the ass. So I have a solution for you, but I want to let you know this is the problem I see a lot. This is the problem I'm seeing with men as fathers on Instagram, with men as fathers in all the social media platforms. I'm seeing this as a key piece to why men are failing there. You are not good at something just because you are in it. You need to work on your skills. You need to challenge your perceptions. You need to challenge your abilities, and you need to look to improve. This goes for everything in life. So if you don't think you need to do that as a father, I don't know what to tell you. Your life probably sucks in other areas significantly, and you probably aren't seeing the results you want because of the fact that you're not working at getting better. Okay. So one of the things that I see is when men are doing this in leadership, what we call this is positional leadership. Okay. It is the worst thing to do as a leader, thinking because you're in a position, you inherently have authority. Because you're in a position, you inherently have decision-making ability. Because you're in a position, you inherently are a leader, a good leader. None of that is true. Just because you get given that position, you still have to work on it. So how do we work on it? Well, to be a good leader, to remove yourself from positional leadership, arguably one of the worst versions of leaders you can even find out there, but to remove yourself from that, you have to earn respect. Listen to what I am saying. You need to earn respect with your children from an early age. I'll give you a little bit of a story here. My niece, who my wife and I have been watching for long periods of time since she was about like 3 or 4 months old, right? She's almost 6 now. We have watched her so frequently. She's basically almost like dual custody, right, with us and her, my wife's sister. Which it's only because my wife's sister loves my wife and us and how much we support our niece that we get to see her this much. But essentially, we have become almost like dual custody with her, where she lets us have our niece for extended periods of time. And we've been doing this for regular amounts, like every month with our niece since she was about 3 or 4 months old. So this goes to say that when she came into our lives, and as we were supporting rearing her as a child, as a surrogate child, we were working on our parenting skills. We were taking the skills that we currently had, and then we were massaging them in how to be a parent. And then we were giving those skills to her, and we were also nurturing her in that way. Well, we had to earn her respect, and we did that from day one. We followed through with the things that we said we were going to do, both good and bad. My wife and I talked about this last night. We took it and said, okay, like if we're going to say there is a punishment at the end of something, we have to follow through with that punishment. So whatever you commit to, you need to follow through with that. But same thing goes with rewards. You need to follow through with every reward that you say they can have. Now, we'll get into this second, but you need to follow through with these things. That is the first way that you can earn respect. It's called integrity with your word. You have to have that. That means if you say you're going to get to go to the jump park, if you do X, Y, or Z, then you need to follow through with taking them to the jump park if they perform that duty, and vice versa. If you say, hey, this happens, or you can pick these two choices, which is going to be the next thing. You can pick this, and one is like you get to go to timeout. Like you have the ability to select that. You need to follow through with that. Or if you say, hey, if this behavior does not stop, you have to go to timeout, then they do it and you put them in timeout. It's not if you do it one more time, or, stop that. It's not doing that. You're not following through and committing to what you said, and you are going to lose respect for that from that kid. That kid is going to register your follow through as how they respect you or not. If you break that integrity with your word, they are going to know that, and they are going to manipulate and use that against you because you do not follow through. And eventually that is going to turn into a rebellious child because they know you don't commit. This bleeds down the road to when they get older. If you do it enough, you're going to inherently ingrain it in them that if they perform in a way that they're supposed to get a reward or a punishment on the back end of it, and they perform, and those rewards or punishments do not come, then the child is going to use that and manipulate you and use that against you as they get older. That is a thing. Now, give your kid choices. This is something that my wife and I have done since our niece was so young, like literally was young enough to actually make a choice of saying yes or no, right? Like we would say, okay, you can have broccoli or carrots. You get a choice, right? You can have raspberries or you can have blackberries. You get a choice. You can have oatmeal in the morning or you can have eggs. You get a choice. I'm not telling her what she absolutely has to have. I'm giving her the choices of things I know are healthy for her, and she's having the power to discern which one she wants. Now, whether or not one of them is more preferential for her, it doesn't matter to me because both are good for her, right? So this is another piece of earning respect from your kids. You're not directing them and being authoritative. Again, as a leader, the more you do that direction and authoritative approach without having earned respect, then you are going to abuse your power and you are going to lose your teamwork or your teammates, right? Same thing with your kids. If you do not give them the ability to collaborate with you, even though you're conditioning the parameters of collaboration, if you don't give them that ability, you are going to lose their respect and eventually you're going to create a rebellious child. This works both teams and children. So look at how you're parenting to give them choices, to make choices and collaborate with you on the outcome, and you'll start earning far more respect with them. Now, the reason why that's important is because when you do need to be authoritative, when those situations do arise, you have a responsive child. You have a responsive team member. When urgency is involved and authority is needing to be invoked, you have the ability to get buy-in because they already trust and, say it with me, respect you. Yes, 100%. This is how you start to cultivate that respect. I see so many leaders fail because they have never cultivated any form of respect. Men, if you're watching this, the first thing that you need when you listen to somebody is you have to have some form of earned respect. How do we do that as adults? Usually it's our background, right? What has this man been through to make me want to respect him? That's going to get me to listen to him at least. Then once I hear his message, he is going to either earn or not earn respect from me. And then I am either going to be part of his team or not be part of his team. This is the process as adults. Right now, we're talking about men as fathers. If you're trying to be a better father, you need to be a better leader. And leaders, good leaders, great leaders earn respect. No great leader has ever been in a position without having earned respect. I promise you, you can look through the annals of time. This does not happen. Okay. Authority creates dissension. Dissension creates rebellion. Rebellion creates zero leadership because rebellion then overthrows the leadership, right? So now we have this positional authority of leadership taken out, right? That's what we're trying to do. Remove you from thinking that just because you're a father, you inherently have power and authority. You do not. You still need to earn it. So when you give them choices, you allow collaboration, you allow buy-in, and even though you condition the parameters of the choices, they still get to make a decision. You don't care which one they make because the choices you gave them both have the same end result. It's the best thing for the greater good, right? So whether it's health, whether it's time, whether it's, uh, I was comfort. Yeah, there we go. Comfort, not climate. Comfort, right? Like if you're going to go outside, right? Like, hey, do you want to wear this sweater or do you want to wear this jacket if it's cold, right? Both achieve the same thing. They just get to pick. So it's giving those choices to start earning respect and following through. In the last thing you guys have to remember is that you have to be willing to do the things with them, right? I see way too many parents shun their kids off because they don't want to participate with them. Okay, it's the same thing with teams. When you have a team and as a leader, you're unwilling to participate in the groundwork that needs to get done to create success, you do not earn respect. I like to refer to this as being willing to get back in the trenches. You probably came from those same trenches. You probably were that team member. Not probably, you were at some point that team member in the trenches. You need to always be willing to get back into those trenches as a leader. Goes the same thing with your kids. Be willing to get back in the trenches with them, whether it's playing with them, whether it's roughhousing with them, whether it's building a Lego thing with them, whatever it is, get involved with them. Be willing to get back in the trenches. They are going to see you as a participant in their life, and you are going to earn respect. Too many men don't want to do this. They either say they don't have time. They either say, I got to get something else done. I'll do this later. And then they don't follow through with it, which means they break their integrity with their word, which means they get a rebellious child, right? Because now they don't have follow through. They haven't earned respect. But when you get back to being involved, when you get back to the trenches, i.e., being a participant in your child's play, in your child's life, in spending an hour with them here and there, not making up excuses on why you can't, right? When you get back into that, you earn their respect. So all of this is to say that men, your ability to be a father is directly reflective of how you fucking lead in life. If you are unwilling to work on being a good leader, you are going to be unwilling to be a good father. Children need leaders, and to be a good father, you need to be a good leader. They go hand in hand. So for all of you guys out there, take a look at how you're leading in your professional lives. Take a look at how you're leading in your social circles, and that is going to be reflective. If you don't have kids right now, that's going to be reflective of how you lead as a father. If you do have kids right now and you don't feel like you're hitting the mark as a father, or you're just like winging it and thinking that, oh my God, like, you know, what my parents gave me is what I get, or what I instinctually want to do typically is what your parents gave you, but what you instinctually want to do is the correct answer. No. Work on this shit, man. If you want this next generation to be better, if you don't want to have these rebellious kids, if you want to have these kids that actually are functioning members of society, creating a generation past them that's even better, you need to start working on your shit now so you can lead them in a better way. And you will then cultivate a tighter relationship with those children as they get older. If you do all of these things, it will work out for you. If you continue to believe that you inherently have these skills, you are going to fail. Promise. All right, guys. Hope you like this episode. If it triggers you, great, drop a note. But make sure you guys go in, and if you like what we're doing here, subscribe and click the notifications so you can get notified every time we put out a new episode. All right, I will leave you guys with that, and I'll see you on the next one.